Hi, and welcome back to another tutorial. I'm going to briefly talk about the two functions or commands of delete and drop table statements. I'm also going to briefly touch upon the SQL commands and what are the categories of SQL commands. But that will not be it for the SQL commands because there will be a separate video where I'll dig into details of SQL commands and how you can how those commands are categorized in terms of their functionality within SQL. Uh, and then lastly, I'm going to demonstrate a couple of examples where I'll be writing the syntax for both dropping, deleting, and dropping table statement. So let me start with SQL commands. So the SQL commands are pretty much SQL developers or data scientists, data analysts, they use to manipulate data stored in relation database. So you know that by now. But there are categories which within the SQL. For example, each command or each statement that we write actually falls in a category from that category, falls within that category within the language. So for example, if we do, let's say, if we do a simple a drop table statement, then we are uh, performing a statement from a DDL command or a data definition language. So if you're doing something let's say, a simple query, then we're doing something from DQL category, which is the data query language. So uh, there are uh, uh, at least five categories that I know. Maybe depending on that database management system or SQL management system, I should say. There may be other categories of commands or how the modern practices have categorized them. But the most common ones are DDL, which is nothing but you know, the type of languages that we SQL language that we use to create and modify database objects based on a requirement. For example, database engineers or data engineers or data scientists use, for example, create command to create database objects such as tables or views, indexes, that kind of stuff. So each time that you create something or that you're dropping something or you make modifying something that relates to a database object such as tables, views, etc., then you're performing a DDL. Next one we have a DQL, right? So DQL is pretty much each time that you do a select command, right, to filter a table, then you're doing something from the DQL category. And next one is the DML. And the DML is important because as data analysts, especially as a data scientist, you do a lot of DMLs when you have to update a record. So DMLs are nothing but sort of manipulation statements such as inserting, modifying commands to insert a new record or commands to replace a record or commands to doing data preparation, data formatting change, that kind of stuff. Sorry, after DML, it's DML. Um, Again, we have anytime that, for example, when you work with null values and you want to replace the null values, or if you would like to cast a data type to a different data type, kind of doing any sort of manipulation with the values or within the data type is actually from the DML category. And then we have the DCL. And so DCL is a data control language, and DCL is pretty much something that most like the administrators are involved in or manage. And simply when you do like access granting or work with the admin or provision related tasks, or even like manipulating accesses or administrative privileges for developers or for the administrators, and you're doing a DCL. DCL is again more, kind of leans toward more like a database side of things rather than the SQL SQL endpoint. Next one is the TCL, right? And TCL is the transaction control language. It's more like Each time that you're working with a database, then there must be some sort of a transaction control language, a transaction control where, it will allow you to make database changes. For example, you have to, refresh the database, or when you have to roll back to, undo an action that was taken place, or if you want to restore the database that was changed at a certain time. So that's more like control language. So these are the five common that I'm actually that I actually know, and they're important to know. Maybe there are other that that as this is science, and it's actively being improved and evolved. There are languages and commands that that are being evolved, and they fall within new categories. But as long as you can, as long as you know these five, and how you can categorize commands within these classification. It will help you a lot. It will really help you a lot, especially when you are doing things conceptually. All right, so delete and drop table. These are the two basic things that you can do with a database. Again, with drop, it's pretty much a DDL, and with DDL, with drop, you're when you want to drop a table, that means you want to remove a table definition. That means the data, the triggers, the constraints, the permission, the fields, everything within that table will be just removed. In other words, you're just dropping, you're just deleting the entire table, including the structure and definitions. A couple things, just be careful while you perform this command, because once you do it, that means you're deleting everything. That's important to know. And also make sure that when you before you drop a table, perform a drop table statement, that you have control permission on the table schema. If you're just a user, you won't be able to do any drop. You won't be able to perform the drop table statement. So that's important to know. And if you do it and you see that it creates an error, that's for sure something related to your permission. Shouldn't be a problem for me because I am the admin. I have admin role, or I have a control role for this PG admin Postgres that I have set up on my machine here. All right, so the syntax, the way it works is you pretty much say drop, and then you put table, and then name of table. Simple as that. So one of these tables need to be deleted. I think table 222. Yes, I'm gonna get rid of table world indicator, which I created in the other demonstration. Uh, Remove here now. So drop table. The syntax is pretty simple. Drop table and then the name of the table, and that should do it. There you go. It was accomplished successfully. And now let's go ahead and refresh the environment, and you're going to see that table, work indicator triple two table was just removed. That was uh, uh, how you can actually get rid of or drop a table in its entirety. Now let's talk about deleting a table. And again, deleting a table has to do. It's not a unlike dropping table, which is a excuse me, which is a data definition language. Deleting is a data manipulation language. Again, you're manipulating, doing a task of modification of a table. Which in this case, deleting a table statement actually only deletes the data that's contained within the table. So therefore, you will not be able to delete anything else within the structure, like triggers or constraints or data type, that kind of stuff. You're only deleting the values with the delete. So let's do delete table SQL statement. We put a headline here for drop table, and then delete table. All right, so the way it works is you will have to the syntax that you will use is delete from and then a name of table. So it should be delete table or and then the table name, but it's just the way to delete from. You'll have to use the syntax and then the name of the table. So this time I'm going to, let's say, delete table one, or maybe or indicator. Let me see one of these. Okay, and then we look at table one. Okay, so this is a blank table. Okay, so let's just go ahead and delete everything within table and we're indicator triple tree. So then we're going to put the name of the table, which is triple tree, and go ahead and run it. So again, this should delete the values within that table. And there you go. So let's just run it again and see if there's any data. And there you go. Now it's blank. Our triple tree was, as I just ran it earlier, it was like this. And I run it again. There's no values, no data. But although there's no values, no data, we did not delete the structure or any constraint or any data type, that kind of stuff. So everything else is just there. Just the bucket is there, but the values were deleted. So this is the updated one. All right. We can also, just like everything else, we can also use delete table with a where clause. So the where clause, actually, you can use the where clause with the delete statement if you would like to add a conditional a condition to your deleting. So let's say this time we're going to run something against. Let me bring everything over from world indicator, and let me refresh it so we don't get confused. Yeah. So let's bring everything here from the world indicator, right? And this time, let's just delete everything, let's say for X. Let's just delete the whole record or the whole line for X, meaning this line 233. So the way it works is we're going to follow the same syntax, delete from world indicator. This time we're dealing with world indicator. This table, not the triple tree. The triple tree is now blank because we deleted the values. So delete from world indicator, and once you type that, you're going to now assign your condition, and then we're going to say where country name is equal to XXX. So again, remember 233 is a row number. We have a country called XXX. And the country ID is 233, and it's just some null values here. We're going to delete this with the condition that we just assigned to it. Let's go ahead and run it. It was successful. Now let's run back the world indicator table, and you're going to see that that specific record was deleted, and it's deleted. So again, uh, make sure that the category of the class of any SQL command that you run, and also make sure that when you use delete and drop table statements, you know the difference between the two. Again, while drop gets rid of a table by its entirety of structure and constraints, indexes, everything within the definition, and the delete table only deletes the data that are contained within the table, and it still keeps the table still keeps its structure, data type, constraints, and everything else, just like we saw in the example. This is it for the video. Thank you so much, and take care.